So I'm trying to figure out where to start here because I want to talk about something today that's really been bugging me. And this brings me back to a time where I felt like most of you. And I just wanted to jump on and talk about that a little bit because I see where you're at. I see where you're going. And this is weighing on me. And I was debating about doing this live today, but I know someone out there needs to hear this. I work with business owners every single day that are brilliant, they're talented, and they're driven people. They want to bring the best value to their clients they possibly can. But so many of them are operating like employees or freelancers or just the bookkeeper or just the tax pro. And you're not just anything. I see you running around everywhere. And I've had clients that told me like a badge of honor that they had the most billable hours of anyone in their firm. That's crazy because you're a CEO if you own a business. A freelancer, let's talk about what a freelancer is. That's someone that just, hey, I need some extra cash. I'm going to do this project. So are you acting like a freelancer or an actual business owner? And I was on one of my calls with the John Maxwell team last night, and she talked about this, and I was like, she's this is exactly the way people are behaving. So if you are in business, just no different than Apple or Starbucks or any of them, then quit acting like a freelancer, a contractor. Be the CEO that you need to be. And there's no shame in saying, I don't even know how to do that, because that's not something that was taught, no matter how much education that you have. It's something that you have to learn and invest in yourself and learn how to lead a team. But the point I want to make here is so many are saying that's not me. But I want you to hang in there with me because this is where it gets real. Because you say you want more time, you want more freedom, and you want less stress. But at the same time, all you're doing is griping. Let's do something about it and get you out of this place if you choose to. Because right now, I'm seeing so much negativity in the industry. And no, it doesn't have to be this way because I see clients that are actually doing it. They're actually making a difference. So if you want to make a difference in this industry to where people actually want to come work in it, then hang on and we're going to teach I'm going to show you how to get there. But it's going to make you very uncomfortable. It is not easy, and I have been there. I When I took over this business, the CPA firm, it was a bookkeeping firm at the time. And once I got my CPA license, I had to get the firm license. And so now it operates as a CPA firm. But I saw something, and I've been thinking back to this a lot lately because I have a project that I'm working on. So I've had to do a lot of thinking back to where we were and how we got there. So I'm going to get off target for just a minute. But because the point I want to say is my business partner and I decided no more, that we no longer were going to work the way that we were working. We were no longer going to let clients dictate how we worked. We no longer were going to do this. So it's no different than Starbucks and you going in and ordering a cup of coffee and you make them change their whole process. They're not going to do it because they have certain processes that they have to follow. That's part of being a business owner. And there's so many of you out there that are acting like freelancers that are just doing whatever the client wants and however they want. And sometimes it's just flat not what you want. And I see you. I see you working really hard. I see you trying to get the taxes out, the bookkeeping out, the cleanups done. But what I also see, you're still pricing your services like you work for your business instead of leading it. And this is one of the hardest concepts that our clients and that myself had to learn. I shouldn't be billable. Lynn shouldn't be billable. The team should be billable. But the pricing has to cover my salary and my benefits plus Lynn's benefits. If it's just you, it's just you. But you have to consider that when you're pricing. And so many of you are not. You're pricing like you're the one doing the work, and that's the only thing there is. Your pricing touches everything, because this is the hard truth about pricing. I don't care what kind of business that you're in, it touches everything. And when I was on that call with the Maxwell team members yesterday, they were also talking about pricing, and I was like, oh my God, somebody else gets it. I'm surrounded with people that get it. But why can't I get this industry to get it? Because your pricing touches everything. If your prices are too low, you're attracting crappy clients that send you crappy documents. You can't afford to hire help, and your clients need you to have help. Because if everything revolves around you and you have something happen, guess what? They're screwed. Number two, you can't delegate. You can't even invest in automations or technology. I don't know how many accounting conferences I have been to that people are like, oh, that's too expensive. That's too expensive. I can't do that. But at the same time, some of this tech replaces a person. And so if you're stuck doing everything yourself, you're tied to your desk, you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted. And all while you're telling yourself, one day it will be different. One day it will be different. But the fact of the matter is, every year it's the freaking same. And so until you're ready to draw the line in the sand and say, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm ready for a change. You will stay exactly where you are, because there's a truth about pricing. Increasing your pricing is hard, because then you have to learn how to sell, and then you have to learn how to communicate, and you have to learn how to lead. And most of you don't want to do that. I didn't want to do it, but I had one thing going for me is I was in retail management for 15 years before coming into this industry. So that's why I see things differently, because I worked for a company that invested in their managers. So I learned how to lead from a retail perspective that then I could turn around and use in the accounting firm, in the coaching business. So that's where we can help you actually learn how to do these things, learn how to price, learn how to build a team. And I do want to let's talk about something here too, because leading a team, and I didn't even know this existed until I started coaching about 5 years ago, that most of you, a lot of you are using contractors that are freelancers or they're building their own business. They're not as invested in your business as you are. You're just giving them work to do. So I will have more on that for another day, but your pricing also doesn't include that, and you get very little left on the other side. And the fact of the matter is, the why you're doing it is because you're afraid. You're afraid of building a team. You're afraid to build prices, afraid someone might say no, afraid of losing clients. But what is it costing you to stay where you're at? And I do a weekly coaching call that's basically like my office hours with our coaching clients. And they come into my office hours, and basically they get to pick my brain about anything. A lot of times we end up, there's no telling what goes on in that. But I've had two tax preparers that have came almost every single week to that call and to leadership every single week throughout tax season. And they have been with me for 2 years, maybe year and a half, both of them. And seeing the difference in them is what makes me get out of bed every single day because they're smiling. We're at April 1st, and on March 31st, they were freaking smiling. They were freaking laughing. They were able to contribute. They didn't have their camera off. They were contributing. They were focused. But the thing about them is they made the decision to invest in themselves and to make a change. They decided, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I can't keep doing. But what the key here is, the core problem with almost every accounting firm I talk to is pricing. Whether you're in bookkeeping, tax, financial planning, whatever it is, it's price. And I use financial planning by tax advisory, that kind of thing, but it's price, which is what's causing you to have to work like you're on a hamster wheel. And then a lot of times we we think we have it fixed, and then we open a new service line, and then that service line starts running us. So these are things that you need to think about. So what I want you to think about right now is CEOs don't build businesses by guessing what people will pay. They know their numbers. They know what it costs to deliver a great client experience. And every one of my clients say, I want to give my client a great experience. But when you're pricing too low, you have to have too many of them. And can you give a great client experiences? They also know what it costs to run a real business with a real team. And if they don't know, we do their bookkeeping for them to help them know. Because a lot of times you're not even doing your own book. So how could you know what your break even point is? And you're not even putting your salary in of what it should be. You're putting it in at some bogus number. I see this all the time. But the thing is, they're learning how to lead. And you can too. Even if you're solo right now, it does not matter because eventually you will want to build a team if you want to get out of the muck. But we do work with solo people in order to help them build teams because there are so many things that we see that people do in hiring, and we try to guide you away from those mistakes so you can build that team too, even if you feel like a hot mess right now behind the scenes. And I know accountants, I am one, and we hide behind our mess. But what I want to tell you is you're not small. You are not less than. You are building something that matters, and you deserve to be paid like it. Because many of you started this journey leaving corporate into this. But what you built, and I hear this all the time. I'm going to go sideways a little bit. I don't want to build something like corporate. Guess what? You get to build what you want, but you also have to think in terms of what's sustainable, because the lower the price, the faster the burnout. I'm going to say that again. The lower the price, the faster the burnout, because you still have to cover all your expenses. Tax software has gone up tremendously. People want to get their returns electronically. People want to send their information electronically. You want them to send their information electronically. There's cost to all of that. So I want you to really think, even though this is April the 1st, take 5-10 minutes and think, or journal on, what is it that I want? And if this hits home with you today, and if you're tired of barely getting by or working too much for too little, and you're really ready to finally build your business like the CEO I know you are, book a call with us. Let's take a look at where you're at, what's holding you back, and what needs to change. What opportunities are there? Because I've also gone through with people, and they're like, I can't raise my prices anymore, but I can't, and I don't have leads coming in because they're usually not marketing. They're usually based on referrals, which are usually based on non-ideal clients. But anyway, so the point here, and then I was like, look at your client list. You have a lead list right there. And the thing is, you don't have to figure this out alone. But the reason why we try to figure it out alone is because we don't want to see people under the hood. And I remember one of my coaching clients a few years back, she called it like looking at her ugly baby and peeling off all the layers to see what was underneath. And she said, and what was underneath was an ugly baby because it was the baby she built. But she said, but when you removed all the layers, peeled them off one by one, you revealed how truly ugly it was. But the thing is, you have to be honest with yourself and you have to be honest with someone else. So why not get help with someone that has been in your shoes and does exactly that and gets you out of what you feel like is the quicksand? So I hope that you realize that you are not alone in this and you don't have to start waiting for someday after tax season. Start leading today. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments, and I'm going to drop our scheduling link in the comments below as well. And I hope to hear from you really soon. If you have a specific question, feel free to DM me and let's talk through it, because I have one final thought that just came to me that I want to share. We were talking about this yesterday, and with my coaching clients, and they were talking about how they talk to each other, and they're like, something needs to change, but we just don't know what it is. We don't know how. There's too much. And I thought back to years ago when I was on this journey, and every accounting group I joined, it always was like, this is the way it has to be. This is the way we're going to do it. Um, and there was always just flat out bitching, for lack of better words, um, of the whole thing and around clients. And I was like, why does it have to be that way? Because even in retail, if you look at retail, and like I said, I look at everything from a retail mind. If you look at retail, Walmart attracts a certain level of people, Target attracts a certain level of people, and then you have Nordstrom that attracts a certain level of people. So why can't the accounting industry be any different? So that's just food for thought for you to think about. What kind of people does Target bring? What kind of people does Walmart bring? And what kind of people does Nordstrom bring? And see if that hits you. And if you want to be a Nordstrom, let's talk about it. Even if you want to be a Target, let's talk about it. Because I promise you, there are ways to make this happen. And I would love to help you get there. So have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon.